The first time we went on holiday to the Isle of Mull about 20 years ago, we didn't have any binoculars. We actually ended up buying some monoculars from the local shop because we realised that you couldn't go on to a place like this without some way of magnifying the image we were seeing. Since then, I've owned a number of pair of binoculars, and inevitably they've kind of gone up in value. So this is the Sunagor 12 to 40 times 27 zoom binoculars. These are very much at the budget end. They do work. They work quite well if you keep them at the 12 times magnification. Now, magnification on binoculars isn't necessarily a case where more is better. Most people are quite happy with either 8 times or 10 times magnification, because beyond that it's really quite difficult to hold the binoculars stable. So this kind of zoom binocular that does from 12 to 40 times magnification, it kind of rings alarm bells to me. I think this is going to be really hard to use, but let's just show you how it's used. Well, first of all, the binoculars are adjustable in a sense that you can move them according to the width of your eyes. You can't move them that far, unfortunately, and the way to operate these binoculars for a non-glasses wearer is to close this eye and focus the image on this one to set it up, then close this eye and use the control here to make sure that the two eyepieces are recording the same level of sharpness. Then you're good to go. You hold the binoculars to your eyes and you use the central control here to focus in and out. Now, all binoculars are the same as that. Where cheap ones vary from more expensive ones is I said that this is for non-glass wearers. If you wear glasses, then these bits of rubber on this particular set of binoculars are supposed to fold back. That allows the, case in point, this allows the binoculars to be held closer to the glasses than otherwise, and will allow you to get a better image. More sophisticated binoculars which will have a screw down element in there, so you can adjust them without the danger of little bits of rubber either perishing eventually or popping up like this one does. In terms of the specification, let's just ignore the 12. So this would be a 12. Let's ignore the 40. Sorry, this would be a 12 by 27. So 12 means that this little pair of binoculars magnifies the image 12 times. The 27 refers to the diameter of the lenses at the front. Now, it seems obvious, but sometimes these things are obvious in retrospect, that the wider the lens at the front, the more light gathering capability it has. So when we were on holiday last, we were out on a trip with a very nice Frenchman who had some Leica Trinovid 10 by 25 compact binoculars. These are not cheap binoculars. They're £400 to £500 worth of binoculars. And yet he was really struggling because the light wasn't great. His optics were fantastic, but if you have a small lens at the front, you need brighter conditions to get the best out of the optics. Whereas a 10 by 42, which is a fairly standard size for binoculars, will gather more light and will give you a brighter image under the same lighting conditions. This one though, as a zoom, and the zoom control is at the bottom, and it's as simple as that. Now when I've got it at this end at 12 times, the image is magnified 12 times. It's not the brightest of images because it's a 27mm objective lens. It is not the best quality image, but it's an awful lot better than not having a pair of binoculars. What this does, when I move this towards 40, is it manipulates the internal elements of the binoculars, and it kind of looks like you're looking down a tunnel. And this, for me, is, what's the word I'm looking for? Rubbish? I think that's the word I'm looking for. So if I were to use these binoculars, I would keep them at 12 times. However, 12 times for me is a little bit too far, because the image vibration will increase with the magnification. So some people like an 8 times magnification because they get a very stable image. 10 times suits me a little bit better. 12 times would be a bit long for me, and I would get a little bit of shake in the image because, well, we all shake, we all move. In terms of pricing, well, you can get new prices, you can get a reasonably good functioning pair of binoculars for under £50. If you want a good pair of binoculars, you're in the £150 to £200 price range. If you want an excellent pair of binoculars, you're probably looking at £500, and if you want the best binoculars, then you're looking at well over £1,000 a pair. Now, that's a very subjective thing to say, but like most things in life, you're going to get a small amount of improvement if you spend a lot more money on it. So don't expect a £500 pair of binoculars to be 5 times better than £100 binoculars. They won't be. They won't even be twice as good. They will be brighter, they will be sharper, they will make life easier for you, and that's what you're paying the extra money for. These little fellas, the Sunagor, well, you can't buy them new anymore. Second hand, you could probably buy them for £15 to £20. And £15 to £20, if that's your budget, then bear in mind they're not going to be the best binoculars in the world, and you do need to keep using them at the 12 and not the 40 range. Then they're an awful lot better than having no binoculars at all. So if you're in the market for a cheap pair of binoculars for a one-off trip that you just need that little bit of extra reach to see seals or I don't know, whatever you're going to look at through binoculars, hopefully not other people's windows, then this is going to be quite good for you. If, however, you're going to be using binoculars on a regular basis, you're going to have them out 3-4 times a year or more, then perhaps you should think about spending a little bit better. I would say don't go for a zoom pair of binoculars. I would say go for a steady pair of either 8 or 10 by either 30 or 42. 10 by 32, 10 by 30 is great. 10 by 42 is going to let a little bit more light in. 10 by 42 over 10 by 30, well, they're bigger, they're heavier, and they're more of a pain to carry. So you pay your money, you take your choice. If you want a lightweight, small pair of binoculars, which are going to be great under perfect conditions, go for the Leica, 400 to 500 quid. However, as soon as the light fails a bit, it's going to struggle. So you're going to need those bigger lenses at the front of your binocular. Still, this was donated to the local charity shop. It works reasonably well. So someone hopefully will get a decent pair of binoculars out of it, but they will want to upgrade very, very soon if they use them more than once.